on this. Okay, guys, I'm gonna get started and let Melissa talk. Will somebody answer those chats if that's me? Okay, yeah, she said thank you. All right. Anyways, Melissa needs no introduction to this group. I've had her on enough times, but I will introduce her. But she is an executive here in Georgia. She's been a big part of my success and keeps me on track too. I am so grateful for her. She won the I Am Singular Award for last year, which was well deserved. But what I brought her on here for is a couple of things. The first thing that I wanted her to talk about that I had already kind of had it set in my mind last week was to get her to talk about how she gets her unique accounts, how she gets somebody upgraded, how she gets somebody rolling to get that unique account, whether it's a quick start or it's a ranked advancement. But after what she did last month, I don't know if anybody saw what she did last month, but she's got half of her Founders Club points. She's got 53 points. She had 32 enrollments, 5,100 inception volume. She's got 3 unique accounts. So I want her to talk about what she did. If everybody could mute out for me too, so I'm not swirling and having to mute everybody out. But I want her to talk about what she did last month to keep, I know their team's got a lot of momentum going, but what she did to get those signups, how she was reaching out, and then we'll go into how she upgrades her distributors or gets them, gets that unique account. So Melissa, I'm going to turn it over to you. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted.
Okay, so I don't know if you can see this, but my finger is actually deformed because I messaged so many people the last 2 days, and I rest my phone on my finger and it's like my bone is deformed. Like I can rub it and my bone has an indentation. That is not good. I'm like, is that going to heal? Is that going to fix? Because I rest my, I wish you could see it, but I rest my phone right there. And I've been on the phone so much the last, actually it's been more than the last 2 days. It's probably been since the 22nd, where I've really been going nuts, and I've literally deformed my finger. That's how much, because the way that I did it, I know this is going to shock you because this is like a huge revolution. I worked. I worked more than I have worked in a long, long time. And I have just a little bit of a competitive edge to me. And when corporate came out with that promo, with the treat yourself promo, I was just like, I wonder if I had a shot at that. And so the first day I got a few enrollments and I started seeing that leaders board, and then I started reaching out to people. I was like, how many you got? Acting like I was going to be all supportive to them and all, just kind of trying to fill the water to see where I was at. And then I realized I had a shot. And so that's what got my momentum, kept my momentum going this week is, I really, once that I realized, and I don't even know what happened last night, but I know that I was on the East Coast and there's a lot of people still going, so I don't even know if I won that or not, but I won. Regardless if I won a prize or not, I got 32 new quick start potentials right at my fingertips. And that's a win. I mean, doesn't matter how you look at it. So, I mean, that was really messaging people, asking people to message people. I doubled referral fees. I did a pick a pumpkin prize where I either offered them that or a rebate. And I was just like, I was thinking outside the box. We didn't have a corporate promo for our customers. So I had to find a way myself to incentivize them. So I gave back, a little bit over half of my commissions, but I've got 32 at the very least 32 new networks, but 32 new quick start potentials. And I mean, what if only 25% decided to do something? Does anybody want to know what, can anybody tell me what 4 into 32 is? Because I think that's, what is it? Oh, 8. How many unique accounts do you need to earn Founders Club? So 25%. You know what I mean? So that's what my focus is going to be on. And the way that I convert my customers into distributors, because every single one of them, I ask them before I sign them up, here's what a member is, here's what a distributor is, this is what you will get you. Do you want to get your products for free? One of them out of 32 said yes. So I've only got one distributor out of 32. So I'm not going to go back and say, well, I really think you need this business. That's not what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is, you're eligible for a $200 bonus. Do you want me to help you get it? I'm not going to talk about the business at all. I'm going to say, you're eligible for a $200 bonus. Do you want me to help you get it? That's all I'm going to say to them. And I'm going to say it on day 3 when they have some results. Well, a lot of them got tummy tamers. So people are getting results on the tummy tamers by day 2 or 3. You know, when I get the text, like, I don't feel as bloated. Oh my gosh, you're eligible for a $200 bonus. You may get help you snag it, because there's other people who are bloated too. You know, and not make it about them, because they don't want it. They don't want the business. They don't want the extra work. They don't want to sell. They don't want to be the ones people roll their eyes at, but they know people who need what they have. And I'm going to make it about me. You know, if they say, no, I don't want a $200 bonus. Well, and then I'm going to be like, well, look, I really want this business to work. And the only way that I can get it is by word of mouth. Just like you came to me, I need other people to come to me then. So can you just make a post for me? Here it is. Will you just post this and tag me? And it be about me. It's not about them. And there's not many people who are not going to do you a favor, you know? So whatever you've got to do to get them to post, to get into their network. And if they say no to the post, say, will you at least just add 50 people to our results group so they can see it, you know? And then if they still say no, then, you know, I'm going to make a post and tag them in it. I mean, I'm going to do whatever I have to do. I'm just saying, you know, I'm going to go in there and say, thank you so much, so-and-so, for becoming one of my best customers. I'm so excited you're less bloated today. Whatever you got to do, you know, you got to think outside the box. You've got to do things that you haven't done before if you want things that you haven't gotten before. If you want to get to ranks that you haven't gotten to before, you're going to have to do something you've done, something different than what you've already done. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect you to have be at a higher level next month. That if you didn't get there this month, you can't do the same exact thing for even for the same goals. If you've got the exact same rank goal as last month and you didn't hit it, you got to do something different this month if you want to. So you can't do the same thing over and over again and expect it to be all of a sudden like, oh, you know, wow, it worked this time. No, if you want more, you got to do more. And one of the things that I was training my team about was leadership. And, you know, if it's like we go to all these events and we go to, you know, we get all of this knowledge. We watch, you know, trainings like this. We watch, you know, Room at the Top. We watch other people train. We listen to 9 at 9s. We go to regional events, whatever it is. And all these people train and we write down all of these notes. And at the end of it, we're just like, all this knowledge is in our head. But so many times when we go to the next event, that notebook still on the same page, still closed up. It was never open. And there you go, writing notes again. But you can input so much, you know, you can always keep inputting, but if you don't have any kind of output from the input, you're not going to get the results. Your business can't grow without the output. You know, your business can't grow without the application. You can't become a great leader just by listening to the things and training and learning the stuff, you've got to actually do it. And that was so funny that that Kim mentioned that regional in West Virginia, because when I first started this, I was a horrible leader. I mean, I couldn't speak, I couldn't train, I couldn't go live, I had anxiety attacks, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even get in front of a group of 5 people and speak. I couldn't do it. I felt like I stuttered. I couldn't get my words to come out right. They wouldn't form in my head. And so that regional in West Virginia, like an hour before I spoke, I was throwing up. Like I was that nervous. I was complete anxiety. I used to do it all the time. Anytime I would have to do anything, I mean, I would get nauseous and like big things like that. Before I spoke in my very first time on stage at Zing Fling, I threw up. Kevin, he's sitting right here, but he had to actually calm me down. They had to call him on the phone because I was going to tell him I couldn't do it. That's how bad it was. And it was like that with everything. And so it was me having to believe that I was worthy. It was me having to believe that nothing good's ever going to come in my comfort zone, stepping out and doing it over and over and pressing that live button. Every time I did it, every time I pressed it, I mean, it was like it was like a challenge, a battle I had with myself. It was like the evil and the angel saying, don't press that button, and saying, you can press that button, don't press that button. It was just like that every single time. But I kept doing it and I kept doing it. And every time I would do it, it would get a little easier. And every time I would train, it would get a little easier. But you have to keep doing it. You have to do the application. You can't just learn everything and know what you're supposed to do. You've got to actually do it. It's the same thing with everything that we learn. I mean, you never learn anything different when you know how do you build a business. It's always the same thing. But if you just know what it is and don't actually do it, you're never going to grow your business. It's never going to be what it is that is at your full potential if you don't work at your full potential. If you don't give it the things that, all of the things, you've got to make it a priority, and you've got to do it and then do it again and then do it again and do more. And I know this isn't what Dawn wanted me to talk about, but I feel like it's so important though, because it all goes together. The way that I got all of those enrollments is I followed up, and then I followed up again. I did what somebody told me to do. Somebody told me you follow up with somebody until they buy or die. You know what? I bet I messaged 2,000 people this week. So it wasn't like I messaged 10 people and, oh, nobody ordered. Well, poor. I mean, it's a numbers game. If you want more, you do more. And I wanted more, so I did it, and I was exhausted, and I would be up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I would wake up to go to the bathroom and message 100 people, in the middle of the night. I mean, if they don't want if they don't want messages, they can turn their notifications off. I don't care. You got to do it when you can do it. But that's part of being, being a good leader is you can't just say you're something and not actually do it. And then you can't just tell somebody what to do, but you've got to show them what to do. Can you imagine if, and unfortunately, there's people in our company like this, but I can't imagine sitting back and having my team work as hard as I did this week and just collect a paycheck off somebody else's efforts. Can you imagine how much I would have no respect of anybody on my team if I did that, because you've got to lead by example. You've got to, if you want somebody to do it, you need to show them how to do it instead of telling them what to do. Be the one. If you want your team to sign up 5 people, you do 8. If you want them to get somebody to quick start, you get 2. If you want them to, get a rank advancement, you get one first. If you want them to go to Founders Club, you best be there. If you want them to go to Zing Fling and you're telling them that these events are important, your butt better be there. You can't just tell somebody, oh, this is what you should do without you doing it. That is not a good leader. And y'all know I'm black and white. I'm going to tell you, put on your steel-toed boots if it hurts. And it's just like the preacher. If you're saying, I can't believe she just said that, it's probably for you. I'm just saying, it is what it is. But it's just like, You know, it doesn't matter what title, it doesn't matter what rank you are. If you're not doing the work, shame on you. Don't collect a paycheck from somebody else doing work, because somebody's doing that work you're getting paid for. And I know y'all are on here, so it's probably not you, but maybe somebody will watch this replay. And if that's you, do the dang work. Get the respect of your team, because that's what a good leader has, the respect of others, because you're leading by example and not just telling somebody what to do. And then the other thing is, a true leader not only leads with their head, but they lead with their heart. They love their people. They build relationships with their people. They know, they know who they are. They know who their family is. The people that are running on my line, it doesn't matter who they are. I know them. I know their husbands' names. I know their kids' names. I know when they're going through stuff. And I keep a list. Like if somebody comes on and says, because we have a like a little thread, an active runner thread. And if anybody comes on there and says, I'm going through this, can you pray for me? I keep notes. And then a week later, I'll check, and I'll bring it back up, because and a lot of people, it's just like out of sight, out of mind, if you don't think about it, or if they, tell you and you follow up with them. Do you know how much that means to people? I was in corporate America for so long. Nobody ever gave a crap. Nobody ever even knew my husband's name. They could have cared less who I was. As long as I did my work to make their money, they were okay. I never got recognized for my hard work. I got passed over for promotions. It was just like a pat on the back goes a long way. And it would have made my job so much less stressful, but I was always pointed out the things I wasn't doing, instead of all the things, being praised for the things that I did right. And that's what I try to do with my people. Every little bitty thing, I want them praised for. I want them recognized for it, and edified for. I want my team to be drama free, which it is. I don't deal with it. It's drama free. It is a place that people can't wait to get to. I have people that go to events that never sign up a person, just because they want to be a part of what we are. They show up for everything that we do together and never sign up anybody, just because it's something that, that they're not getting anywhere else, And it's just like last night we had one girl running for a rank that she's already hit. But we all rallied. We cheered that girl on, and she hit it. I mean, she was, I think that morning she was 1,100 points away from gold. She had already hit gold before, but she really wanted to hit it. And by 7 o'clock that night, she still needed 840 points. And all I did was post a thing on there that says, she's this far away. Help me cheer her on, because I know she can do it. I believe in her. And do you know that girl hit that thing? She hit that rank because everybody started just rallying. They started lifting her up. And instead of her doubting, she started believing. We shouted people out that got to a rank that they, passed where they were last month. It doesn't matter if it was their highest rank. They did better than they did the month before. You find stuff to shout them out and praise them for. That's what motivates your team. That's what gets that inspiration. That's what gets that excitement. That's where that momentum is created. You create that for your downline. It comes from you. It starts with you, and then it rolls. You get excited. You breathe life into your team and belief into your team. And if some of them can't believe in themselves, but you let them borrow yours. And that's what's going to create that momentum to give you anything that you want. You give others what they want. You make others feel like nobody else makes them feel. That's what's going to create that excitement. And that's what's going to grow your team right there. And you've got to set the standard. It starts with you. And I don't care if you've got a team of 1, you act like it's a team of 1,000, and you treat them like it's a team of 1,000. And I don't care if you're a manager, if you want to be an executive, you act like one right now, and you start leading like one right now. You start training. And if you don't have anybody to train, if you don't have any distributors right now, you volunteer to train for somebody else. You find a way to practice being a good leader. You find a way to establish yourself as a leader in this company. And that's what's going to propel you, because it's all about what's in here and in here. Get out of your own way and start doing things you've never done before. And that's going to take you to places you can't even imagine. So that's what I got.
Love it. Love it. Elsa has a question. She asked, how do you deal with folks who don't respond, but they see your messages?
Yeah, just love them where they are. That's ghosting. You know, if it's your customers, more than likely they have fallen off the wagon. And at that point, you pick up the phone call. If it's prospects, you just move on. Just keep doing. You can't control the outcome. You can't control what they do. The only thing you can control is what you do. Use the follow-up schedule. I don't know if y'all got mine that's in my boards. I don't know, but I've got one in my boards that tells you what days to follow up. I use Teamsy, so I set the follow-up, and I use that follow-up schedule, and I don't care if they respond or not. They're going to get that message, and they're going to know that I'm thinking of them, and that they're not out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
That
And
your question?
How do you handle one or two blockers, collect a check and do nothing?
I shame them. I have 1 point blocker on my entire team. I shame them. I call them, and I have sent some harsh messages, because to me, it's, I feel like, I probably shouldn't say anymore. I feel like if you're going to sit back and somebody else is going to do the work and you're collecting a check from it, that's taken away from them. If you don't want it right now, and if it's just temporary, you know what? We're going to help you. We're going to lift you up. We're going to make sure that you still have a business 3 months from now. If it's temporary, if it's been a year and you haven't done anything, you need to get out. And yeah, I have some harsh conversations, and it's hard. It's hard having this, because you love these people, you've built these relationships with these people, but you got, it's my job, especially if they're on my 3rd, 4th, 5th level. It's my job to protect my front line and those other people that are working for their paycheck. And that's usually what I say is, tell me how this is fair to so-and-so that's working, and then the people above you that's working and you collecting the money. How is that fair? Where in the world, and what part of anything? What that doesn't happen anywhere. We don't want you to go anywhere, but you're going to work, or you do need to step down. So.
And it kind of the same way with, I just completely lost my train of thought on where I was going with that. What about like kicking that distributor out of the nest? When do you run a few chats for them? I know this is one thing that we all struggle with. You've got somebody that's willing to work, but they don't have time, and they're not the ones that are on here. They're the ones that need to be on here. So maybe they're watching this on the replay. When do you, and this is just me being straightforward and not knowing another way to say it. It's not really like you're using them, but get them to quick start. And if they're not showing you the initiative to do anything, then you just kind of let them go. That's my perspective on that type of situation. But what do you do?
So it's different with each person. I set the expectations right up front. I'm going to help you. I'm your person, but I'm not going to work 2 businesses. I can't. I don't have time. So, we're going to, and what I usually do is I usually run a few for them, and then the next one I'll give them, I'll change the introduction, and I'll let them start asking the questions. And then when they respond, I go in and send them a text for them to copy and paste that into the group. And then same thing. The next one, I was like, here, say this to this person. And it's a little bit more work for me up front, but then they're actually doing the work. So by the next one, after I do that a couple of times, the next one, they're already doing it. And the only time I jump in is when it's something weird. And then after, after they hit, after they've done, 5 or 6 of them by me texting them, then they get introduced to boards. And then, I mean, I've had some people running their own chats after a week. I've had some that's taken about a month, but I'm not going to work 2 jobs. If you are just using me, we're going to have a talk, because I ain't the one. But if you sincerely are struggling, and because you've got people that are, that they're not as fast on technology, and that's okay. I'll help you as long as you're making an effort. I'll help you as long as you need help, as long as you need to be helped. But I'm going to teach you. I'm not just going to do it for you because it's easier. Because initially it is easier. If it's just like, when you get busy, it's just easier to throw a chat in there and not even, but that hurts you in the long run. That is enabling instead of empowering. And the faster you can empower your people, the faster they're going to grow.
How do you, when you upgrade them, do you throw them into your boards? Do you just, I've heard so many different other leaders, they talk about, the distributor that comes in and they get overwhelmed. Are you just working with them one-on-one and then introducing them to people and then just slowly getting them into like your boards? And
I'm so glad you asked. I have onboarding a new distributor. I have an entire board, an entire folder under business in my board for onboarding a new distributor. And it's about spoon feeding. It's got how to duplicate what they're doing. So you get somebody to quick start and you're like, oh, you need to, how do I help them do exactly what I help them just do? How do I help them help others do exactly? So we created the verbiage, the file, the resource library. So they have everything at their fingertips to duplicate what they just did with others without them stressing out and not feeling that they know anything. So everything's right there. So at the point where they're where they're starting to get people signed up, that's when we start using the onboarding a new distributor and empowering them to duplicate. And that's all in my boards folder. And it's spoon feeding, when you get a new distributor, it's like, that was the thing that I think was missing, because we've got all the coaching stuff for, can I share my thing? No. Can you make me co-host?
Yeah, let me try to figure.
Y'all got time? What time is it? I don't want to take too much time.
9:02. I mean, if anybody,
y'all need to get off, y'all can get off.
Yeah, get off. Yeah. Make host.